Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on into the Blue Collar Psychiatrist. I am the Blue Collar Psychiatrist, talking to you today about, quote, learning to love someone else. I have talked to many people who are so-called experts in the field of dating, human relations, and other related matters. And they have told me that it is their belief that another person over time who at first has no affinity to you or me, can learn to appreciate who you are. And at some point, there is a possibility or a probability that that person can learn to love you. To me, this is nonsense. Any type of relationship that I have been in or that others have been in starts out with a spark. There's a mutual attraction there between the two parties. You don't learn it like you're learning from a textbook, and then all of a sudden one day you discover that you love someone or really like someone. It's a magical thing that happens. I will tell you that. It's not something that can easily be broken down. Why certain people are attracted to other people and not others is a mystery of life. But nevertheless, even though it's a mystery, it is in play, and you must understand this. You cannot force someone to like you, to love you. It's not possible. You can get on your hands and knees and beg that person to say to them, "Oh, I'll do whatever you want. I really like you. I want to be in a relationship with you," and that only makes the matters worse, because then they have less respect for you. If you're on your knees begging them to have a relationship with them, that finishes right there. You have to understand that. And if you try to give them a verbal resume of all your accomplishments and who you are as a person to try to convince them to love you, to like you, then you've already lost. Because it doesn't work that way. It's just some sort of, as I said, mysterious thing that happens between two people. We don't know why, but it happens. And that's the thing I want to tell you. Again, here we go again. Time. Why waste your time on a journey that's going nowhere? And the journey of which I speak is the journey of trying to convince someone else of all the reasons that they should have to love you, to like you. It just does not work that way. Why waste the time? You got to walk. There's nothing that you can do. You can't grab the person by the throat and say, "Why don't you love me?" or "Why don't you like me?" That's not going to work, and then you might be arrested anyway. Listen to what I'm trying to tell you. All the time in the world will not change that other person's view of you. They see you in a certain way. They either feel something or they don't, and it's not going to work. I don't care what all the so-called experts say about learning to love. That expression is very, very misleading. You don't learn to love. You may learn to love, to appreciate art, for example, but you don't learn to love, to really love another person. I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to this thing where you have to give it time and then assume that if you go out together a lot, it's going to be happening. No. And this also intersects with this thing of trying to convince someone that you are the person for them. Because that is a sure recipe for that person to lose complete and total respect for you. Even though you think you're giving them all the reasons about how good you could be for that person, and how well you were going to treat them, it still is not going to go anywhere. So, ladies and gentlemen, I beseech you, meet as many people as you can, see who you're attracted to, and then determine whether that person is attracted to you. In other words, is it reciprocal? And you've got to find out. Now, you're not going to find out right away, but you're going to find out pretty soon whether that person is into you as you feel that you're into them. It's a tricky game, because nobody understands the rules. And there's no book you can read that's going to tell you what you need to do. Obviously, you have to present yourself in a reasonable manner. You got to be dressed appropriately. You've got to be able to speak. It certainly helps to have the gift of gab. There's no question about that. But the bottom line is, we're talking about something that is subconscious. It's just subconscious, and you're not going to be able to ascertain it. You're not going to be able to understand it. You have to realize what the reality of the situation is, and then behave accordingly. If you like someone, but you're not getting anything in return, and you can sense it, it's time to move on. And it's sad, because we all want a relationship. We all want to be involved with someone that's good for us. But as far as I know, it takes two, not one, to form a relationship. And they also say, for example, it takes two to get married, but only one to divorce. And it's the same thing that applies in this situation. So, ladies and gentlemen, save yourself the consternation. Save your self-esteem. Do not beg another person to like or love you. The world does not work that way. Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you to drink, and drink abundantly from the fountain of life. See you next time.